In this session we're going to be going over graphing. The first thing we need to know about graphing is the two-dimensional coordinate plane. The two-dimensional coordinate plane consists, oh come on, I don't want green. How's that look? Yeah, that's better. In this session we're going to be going over graphing. The first thing we need to know about graphing is to define In this session we're going to be going over graphing. The first thing we need to know about graphing is the two-dimensional coordinate plane. This coordinate plane consists of a y-axis and an x-axis. Now if we want to plot a point in this coordinate plane, we use what's called an ordered pair. We have an x value separated by a comma and then a y value. So if I wanted to plot the point 2, 3, this would be starting from the origin, which is the intersection of the x and y axis, and we're going to be going 2 to the right and then up 3. So this would be the point right here, 2, 3. If we want to find the point, let's say -4, -3, then we start from the origin again and we go 4 in the negative x direction and down 3 in the y direction. And this would be our point, -4, -3. Now, to construct a line, all we need are 2 points. And once we get 2 points, we draw just a straight line through those points to make a line. So if we use the points that we found, this line would be something like that. If I actually hit that point there, it would go right through. So we need to learn how to graph a line. Well, the main form we use is y equals mx plus b. This is slope-intercept form. The m represents the slope and the b represents the y-intercept. Now slope is m, is the rise over the run in a fraction. That's also equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 when we're dealing with points, when we have 2 different points and we want to find the slope. We'll do that later. Now let's take a look at an example. Let's say I want to graph the line y equals x plus 4. Okay, in order to do that, I'll first start by drawing my axis, or both axes, the y-axis and the x-axis. Second, I'll take the y-intercept, which I know is 4, and I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the y direction. Right here is my y-intercept. I'm not exactly sure where the line's going to be right now, but I know it's going to intercept right there on the y-axis. Now if I take a look at my slope, which is the coefficient in front of the x term, here it's a 1. So if my slope is 1, if I were to write that in a fraction, it would simply be 1 over 1. So from the point that I already know, which is the y-intercept, to find the next point on the line, I'm going to go from there, up 1, and over 1. So now I'm right here. Now that I have 2 points, I can draw a line through those 2 points, and that's the line I'm looking for. Now, when we're talking about slope, we can also find a slope that is perpendicular or parallel to a given slope. If a slope, or if a line, such as this one, is parallel to a line such as this one, as in they never cross, or like railroad tracks, the slope is going to be the same for each line. If we're talking about perpendicular lines, that's where we have 2 lines that intersect to form 90-degree angles. Then instead of being the same slope, it's going to be the negative reciprocal of the slope of the first line. So let's say that this slope is 1/2. Then the slope of this line is going to be the negative reciprocal of 1/2. The negative reciprocal means that we're going to flip the fraction and then take the opposite of its current sign. So since this one is positive, now this is going to be negative. so this would be negative 2. Another example, if we have a slope and it's 3, the slope perpendicular to that is going to be negative 1/3. And if we have a slope that is 54 over 3, let's say negative 54 over 3, the slope perpendicular to that is going to be a positive 3 over 54. So let's take another example of graphing a line. So let's say we've got the equation 2x minus y equals 7. Okay, this is in standard form, but what we want to do is get it into the slope-intercept form. So all we need to do is solve for y. So to do that, I'm going to first start off by subtracting 2x from both sides. Now I have negative y equals negative 2x plus 7. And then I'll divide everything by a negative 1 to get a positive y equal to positive 2x minus 7. Now I've got it in my slope-intercept form. So now I'll draw my axes, find the y-intercept, which down here is negative 7, and then I'll use my slope of 2 to find the next point. So I'm going to go, well, let's see, m is 2, which you could write as 2 over 1. So I'm going to go up 2 from the point I have, up 2 to the right 1. And there I'll draw a line between those 2 points. And that's my line. Now when we solve for y, we can easily see what the y-intercept is. But if we wanted to find the x-intercept, which is this point right here, where the line crosses the x-axis, we need to solve this equation for when y equals 0. So if we plug in a 0 for y, we now have 0 equals 2x minus 7, and then all we need to do is solve for x. So we'll have 2x equals a positive 7, or x equals 7 over 2. And this right here would be 7 over 2. Now if we're not already given the equation of the line, often we can be asked to find the equation of the line given 2 points or 1 point and its slope. So let's say we need to find the equation of a line that goes through the point 2, 2 and the point 4, 6. First thing we're going to need to do is find the slope. So we know that m, or the slope, is the rise over the run. And we also know that if we have 2 points, we can use the equation y2 minus y1 equals x2 minus x1. So we'll go up here and we'll say this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2. So then the slope that we'll be looking for is going to be 6 minus 2 over 4 minus 2, or 4 over 2, which then reduces to a slope of 2. Now that we have the slope, let's take a look and see what our equation and slope-intercept form will look like right now. We'd have y equals 2 instead of m, because we found our slope, x plus b. But we need b, otherwise we don't have the equation of the line. So what we're going to do now is take one of these points that we know, an x and y value, either one that we want, and plug them into the x and y here, and then solve for b. So I'm just going to pick this one, the point 2, 2. So I'll plug in the 2 for y, here's our slope of 2, plug in the 2 for x, plus b. So then this becomes 2 equals 4 plus b, or b equals negative 2. So when writing the equation of a line, we only need 2 things. We need a slope and a y-intercept. Now we have both. So the equation of the line that goes through the points 2, 2 and 4, 6 is going to be y equals 2x minus 2. Now let's say we have 1 point, but they're also giving us a slope, or at least what the slope needs to be if it's perpendicular to a given slope. So let's say we know that we need to find the equation of the line that goes through the origin, which is again the point 0, 0, and it has a slope perpendicular to negative 3. So again, just like before, first of all we need to start out by finding our slope. Well, if our slope is perpendicular to negative 3, the slope we're looking for is going to be the negative reciprocal. So we're going to flip the 3 over 1. So now we've got 1/3, and then take the opposite of negative, which is positive. So the slope we'll be looking for in our line is 1/3. So now let's take a look and see what our line looks like. We have y equals our slope of 1/3 x plus some b. Well, if it's going through the origin, which is the point 0, 0, then we know what the y-intercept is. It's going to be 0. So if b is 0, then we already have our equation. It's just going to be y equals 1/3 x. We don't need to write the plus 0.